did it, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear I've weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it in a sense, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always
Audio check 1 2 3. Audio check 1 2 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We're here from the pit lane at the Circuit of the Americas for the USA Grand Prix round 17 of season 3 on the Codemasters Formula 1 game here on F1 2021. Coming towards the end of the F1 2021 game lifespan here at Motive and in general, but coming towards F1 22, the announcement officially made that it will still be cross-play between the two PlayStation platforms, PS4 and PS5, which is absolutely brilliant news. I think that came out before last week's race, but obviously that's absolutely brilliant because it means that we won't have to set up separate leagues and probably have a massive divide and drop in numbers, which is absolutely great, and we're looking forward to seeing that. But we are on the F1 2021 game for qualifying for round 17 of this season here. I'm going to quickly grab up the championship standings. I should have done this before the start of the qualifying session, but I lack this ability to plan things in advance, so unfortunately we haven't been able to do that. I mean, I can do it, but it's very hard and it takes a lot of effort. But anyway, let me just scroll up the Discord server, but nonetheless, also, I want to say a big thank you to the 20 drivers here tonight. A full 20 car grid. That is absolutely brilliant. Love to see it. You love to see a good turnout for a race, but especially when the grid is packed to the rafters. And I'm sure we're going to be in for a very exciting night of action here. The Circuit of the Americas never disappoints here at Motive. Some people will remember season 1, there was a mass pile-up involving both championship contenders in the first season here between Green Pies and Just Jose, and all caused by what was at the time a racing point of Gary 131 and his teammate Mata Himovic went on to win the race. So how's that for a bit of controversy? But nonetheless, we've got the Grieve here coming through the S's here. He's running on the medium tyres for this qualifying session, as is GGJPS, who's also driving in his first race here at Motive as well, making his debut here on the Motive Racing channel. You've got Little Greavy, Rednass, Bennett and Green Pies also out on the track at the moment. In fact, Rednass and Bennett are actually in the pits, so they're not going to achieve very much whilst in there. But Magpie's on an outlap at the moment, so he's just getting himself warmed up, ready to go. You got the Mutts Nuts here coming through the S's at the moment. Boo Boo just behind him on the track. You got the Greaves just coming down the long straight through the middle sector, you've got Dr. Van Midden also coming down that long straight. Joe Ram and HD Baguette both in the pits as Chicken Wings done the first lap time of the session there in the Alpha Tauri, 137.2, which gets absolutely blown out of the water there by Green Pies, who does a 134.7, and Ben Smith goes to top of the leaderboard there with a 133.1. So those are currently the lap times coming in the early stages here of this qualifying session. And yeah, not too much really happening in terms of the times yet. Obviously, we're very early here in this qualifying session. But I want to say thank you to everybody who's joining us live on the stream here tonight. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the action. If you are, please do drop a like on the video, as it really does help us out an enormous amount. Checking the mic. Hello everybody, we're coming towards the end of the qualifying session for the US Grand Prix here at Motive. That was my phone that just fell on the floor. But nonetheless, closing stages of this qualifying session. Jerome currently man on pole, got 0.6 of a second at the moment of a gap at the top of that leaderboard, so he's looking very, very good here for another pole. He's taken a few poles so far this season, has the reigning champion and championship leader for this season, and he's got a big gap at the moment over Little Greavy, so he's gone all out, not going for his usual medium tyre start. He's gone absolutely hell for leather here for this pole position. He's just coming through the S's at the moment. You've got Little Greavy sat in second in the leaderboard, currently sat in the pits, so I can't imagine that he's going to be able to go fastest from there. But Magpie currently also out there on the track, as well as Boo Boo. Boo Boo making his debut here tonight in the actual Motive F1 League. Has raced on the Motive channel before. This is his first race actually on the Motive Leagues. We've got Ben Smith sat in 5th place in the leaderboard at the moment. Magpie's gone 3rd place with the latest lap of his there, so he's got within about 9/10 of Joram's time, but not really in the same ballpark at the moment. Little Greavy, the only one who's, I'd say, anywhere near, and he's half a second adrift. So it looks like Joram is definitely in dominant form here tonight. He's currently at just under a tenth of a second off of his best through the middle sector. So he's on another quick lap here as Joram. Can he find a couple of tenths in this last sector and improve his provisional pole time and absolutely rub salt in the wounds of these rest of these drivers here? Here he comes through the final sector. He's got a Williams there just in front of him in the shape of what must be the Mutt's surely, you would think. Yeah, it is the Mutt's just here in front of Joram. Coming into the final corner, can the Mutt's improve a little bit? He's currently 3 seconds off for the pace. Up towards the line comes the Mutt's. He does improve a bit, goes up into P11. What about Joram? Joram comes over and he does improve. He improves by a tenth, and Joram on pole by 7/10 of a second here in the USA. Absolute masterclass here around the Circuit of the Americas so far tonight from Joram, as Magpie's still out there on a lap. He's 2 tenths up through the middle sector. Let's see if he can improve his lap. Can he get himself into the 131s here? Magpie onto the power out of the last corner. What is it going to be for Magpie? He goes P2 with that lap. He just pushes Little Greavy down, and Magpie will start on the front row alongside Joram. Magpie, the only driver who can realistically really take the fight to Joram in this season's championship, but he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to make that happen. A. Thompson did his lap on the medium tyres. He's just 2 seconds off of the pace, so might be in with a shout of a podium in this one once we get underway for the race on the medium tyres. Not going to be a bad shout there, A. Thompson, but Joram on pole ahead of Magpie in second. Little Greavy will start third ahead of Bennett. Then we have Boo Boo in fifth ahead of Green Pies in sixth. Ben Smith seventh, followed by A. Thompson, who will line up on the medium tyres in eighth place. GTJ in ninth ahead of the Grieve, completing the top 10. Let's have a quick look at the tyres and see what tyres they all set their fastest laps on. So it looks as though, yeah, all the tyres that we saw were the tyres that we used to set that fastest time for each driver. So all of the drivers in the top 7 did their fastest time on the soft. A. Thompson and GTJ will get the luxury of starting on the medium tyres for the race. The Grieve line up in P10, Horatio in 11th, followed by Penguin 12th, then the Mutt's 13th, Rednast in 14th place. Dr. Van Midden will line up in 15th ahead of Chicken Wing, who'll be in 16th place, and then DJ Phil in 17th. HD Baguette retired from the session, as did Chrissy, as did Rakim Vajay. So those three will start from the back for this one. But that is that's the order for the US Grand Prix qualifying here at Motive. For round 17 of season 3 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be live very, very shortly for the race itself. Check. Here we are then, guys, lining up on the grid. We're getting ready to go racing here for round 17 of the Formula 1 season here in Motive for season 3 on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. The 20 cars here on the grid, all the drivers lining up ready to go. Once we're all readied up and synced in, we'll be ready to go. The engine rest will rise. The lights are coming on now. We're about to go racing here at Kota. And it's lights out and away we go. Have we got a clean start at the front? Let's see. Joam here has got a slightly bogged down start. He's already got Little Greavy all over the back of him, but Magpie's down the inside of Little Greavy. They're into second place, and we can see Little Greavy's been pushed out a little bit by Bennett. Bennett, though, side by side with him, but Little Greavy holds on, and Little Greavy looking down the inside of Magpie now, looking to try and squeeze past him, going through turn 2. There's been a little bit of contact there between the two of them, but Magpie squeezes through into second place. Little Greavy drops down to third, and we see GGJ there in seventh. Has got ahead of Ben Smith, and looking like Boo Boo's got ahead of A. Thompson as well through the Essex for the first time. But it's Joanne from Magpie from Little Greavy. Bennett Boo Boo ahead of A. Thompson. You've got GGJ Ben Smith followed by Penguin Dude. Chrissy has got ahead of Horatio up into 10th place. Looking down the order, Green Pies has had a horror show of a start to this race. Didn't really see what happened to him, to be fair. He was sort of like up the front towards the mid-pack, and he's now down to 18th place here on the very first lap of this race as Joram leads us coming down the long back straight here for the first time in this race. He's got Magpie within 7/10 of a second of him right now. Bennett is on the back of Little Greavy trying to get something done here in towards the braking zone at the end of the straight. He's going to look to the inside. Can Bennett send one here? No, he can't. He's too far back at the moment as we've got Ben Smith now looking down the inside there of GGJ, and he's got himself ahead of GGJ there into 7th place. So that's a great move there from Ben Smith. Noticing there that Ben's driving in the Red Bull. So what happened there to Raki tonight? He wasn't able to drive in his customary Red Bulls. Oh, we see the Mutt's Nuts there getting a little bit wide onto the grass and rejoins the track there. Rednass has got himself up into 12th place ahead of Horatio by the looks of it. Raki has left the session. So not sure what's happened there to Raki, but he's retired very early on from this race as Green Pies has got ahead of HD Baguette up into P17 in this race. But Joram leads ahead of Magpie, ahead of Little Greavy, followed by Bennett ahead of Boo Boo. You got A. Thompson and Ben Smith side by side here down the start finish straight. Can Ben Smith complete this move onto the brakes into turn 1? Ben Smith on the soft tyres compared to A. Thompson on the mediums. He gets that done brilliantly there. And Penguin Dude's got ahead of GGJ up into 8th place as well. Chrissy's losing positions. He's lost out to the Grieve and Rednass. Didn't see what happened there to Chrissy. He's now just ahead of Horatio. Dr. Van Millen. You've got the Mutt's Nuts to put a second back. The Mutt's Nuts has got Green Pies behind him, and Green Pies has got ahead of DJ Fulham. What's happened to Ben Smith? Ben Smith is out of the race. Ben Smith has crashed. I presume it must have been through the S's there. Didn't see what happened. I know that he had just got ahead of GGJ. So I wonder what's going on there with him. No, it might have been A. Thompson. We just got ahead of A. Thompson. So A. Thompson has dropped down to 15th place. I can only assume that Ben Smith and A. Thompson have had a bit of a collision somewhere. But nonetheless, we have lost Ben Smith from this race as Bennett's now making the move on Little Greavy down the inside, riding on board with Boo Boo just behind them. Bennett completes the move there on Little Greavy and he's up into 3rd place as Little Greavy picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits by the looks of it. So that's not gone to plan for him as he's now looking to try and come back at Bennett coming through the stadium section. But Bennett's got enough in hand at the moment to hold on to that one as Raki's off in position due to the retirement of Ben Smith here on the very first lap of this race. It's Joanne from Magpie from Bennett. Little Greavy's all over the back of Bennett right now in about the 3rd place. You've got Boo Boo ahead of Penguin Dude, who's 3 seconds behind you. He's got GGJ currently hot in his mirrors at the moment. You've got Rednass the Grieve. There's Chrissy completing the top 10 at the moment ahead of Horatio. You've got Dr. Van Millen ahead of the Mutt's Nuts and Green Pies. And Green Pies is now hunting the rest of them down here after his first lap melee. As we can see, DJ Phil has made the move there on HD Baguette up into P16 here in this race. So good move there from DJ Phil. A. Thompson's in the pits at the end of lap 2, so he's coming in relatively early in this race. Joanne though leads ahead of Magpie. Bennett there in 3rd ahead of Little Greavy. And the Mutt's Nuts has got ahead of Dr. Van Millen up into 11th place there. And I can just see on the camera lens a little bit of rain. So it's not coming down heavily yet. It's not absolutely pouring, but there is certainly a little bit of moisture in the air, which is causing potentially the drivers to concern themselves a little bit over the strategy here. And that might cause a few head scratchings to go on as Little Greavy's lost out to GGJ and Little Greavy's going backwards here down to P7. Didn't really see what's happened there. Oh no, the Greavy's crashed out of the race. The Grieve has hit the wall, and that's terminal damage, and that's a virtual safety car here. So the virtual safety car's been deployed. Raki's back in the session. I'm presuming it must have been a disconnection there for Raki Majay. But A. Thompson, the first driver to put the inters on, he put it on before the VSC was even deployed. And that's a ballsy move because the track is certainly not wet enough for intermediates yet. The green left the session after that DNF there, so no surprise in that instance. But virtual safety car here on lap 3 of the race. It's Joam leading from Magfire from Bennett. Boo Boo in 4th ahead of Penguin Dude. You've got GGJ in 6th, followed by Little Greavy. Chrissy in 8th ahead of Horatio. The Mutts Nuts completing the top 10. You've got Green Pies, Dr. Van Min and Red Nasa HD Baguette, followed by DJ Phil, Chicken Wing, A. Thompson and Raki completing the classification with the Grieve and Ben Smith both crashing out of this race in the early stages. VSC is now subsided. Magfire though hassling the back of Joram as they're coming out onto the start finish straight. DRS will be open here for Magfire. He's a little bit too far back to send one, but he'll definitely be able to keep the pressure on with that DRS aid as he comes up towards turn 1. Has a look to the inside on Joram, trying to make him think that he's going for the move. As I'm noticing there on the timing screen that Horatio's into the pits at the end of lap 3, so I wonder if he's going to go for the intermediate tyres as well. But this is the battle out the front between Joram and Magfire. These two, the top two in the championship. Joram obviously the hot favourite for the championship, being that he's got quite a sizable lead over Magfire. But in terms of this race, Magfire would love to get one over his rival here, as Chrissy's got a 3-second time penalty, noticing that one on the timing screen there. As we can see, DJ Phil's got ahead of Rednass in the pits, but Magfire looking to the inside on Joram, can't make anything happen there. Bennett there in 3rd ahead of Boo Boo. You've got Penguin Dude there running in 5th place. Then you've got GGJ who's trying to fend off Little Greavy at the moment. Chrissy there running in 8th place, has got 4 seconds back to the Mutts Nuts, who's got Green Pies absolutely hassling the back of him here for 9th places. Magfire's got ahead of Joram. So the race leader's changed hands here. Joram's now trying to come back at Magfire. Also Little Greavy looks like he's making a move here on GGJ, and he's made that one brilliantly there. GGJ tried to come back at him, had a little look to the inside into the left-hander at the end of the straight, couldn't make it happen. Green Pies is making a move down the inside of the Mutts Nuts, so he's got himself up into 9th place there, and his position change is going on left, right and centre right now. As you've got Dr. Van Min in a couple of seconds behind them. You've got HD Baguette there running in 12th, 4 seconds ahead of Chicken Wing. And Horatio, Rednass and A. Thompson and DJ Phil, those 4 drivers have all put the intermediate tyres on in the early stage of this race. So they clearly have taken a bit of a gamble, hoping that the track gets wet quickly. But at the moment, the rain doesn't seem to be coming down hard enough, as Bennett's now into the pits, the latest of the drivers to come in and risk it for a biscuit, as Joram's now got the DRS coming in towards turn 1, looking to the outside. Magfire defends on the inside line, but at the moment, Magfire's just got enough here over Joram. Magfire seems to have the command of these slightly slippery conditions, this unpredictable weather that we're seeing here at the Circuit of the Americas tonight. Magfire seems to have control here. Joram though trying to come back at him as they're coming through the S's here on lap 5 of the race. We've got double waved yellow flags through sector 3, not quite sure what they're in aid of at this point. We've got GGJ currently on the back of Chrissy, these two battling it out over 6th and 7th places right now. We're going to go back to the 2 leaders though, who are still going at it here as they're coming towards the end of the first sector. Double waved yellow flags again through sector 3, still not sure why those are out. Raki saying in the comments, my apologies to all, my throttle pedal broke during quali, quickly charged pedal set but wasn't calibrated. Apologies to the guys I hear. Andy, would you like me to join on comms? Yes mate, yes. Let me let's just watch what happens here first. As we can see, Joram looking to the inside, he has to swerve there as Magfire tries to defend the position, but Joram gets the move done into the left-hander, and Joram back into the lead of the race. So these two changing positions, left, right and centre, they're going back and forth right now, and Joram has P1 once again as Chicken Wing is into the pits at the end of lap 4. But absolutely, Raki, let's get you into the comments box, mate. Let's we just stand that party in right now. We're going to take a quick break here on the screen, and you will be able to hear Raki on alongside me in a moment. There we go, guys. Right, we're back on here. Lap 6 of 28 for the US Grand Prix here at Motive. Joram leads the race, having made the move back on Magfire a few moments ago. It's also not just me in the commentary box. I'm joined in the box by Raki at a very interesting time in this race. Raki, welcome along, mate.
Yes, good evening all. Thank you.
Good evening. We've got a bit of a.
Let me apologise to all the guys I've hit.
Well, I don't know if there'll be a few stewards inquiries. Hopefully people will understand that Raki was a little bit handicapped with his wheel there in the early stages of that race. But nonetheless, mate, we've got a hell of a strategy developing here. We've got a few drivers sticking the intermediate tyres on now. Joram, Magfire, Boo Boo, Little Greavy, they're all staying out on the dries as GGJ and Green Pies. But, I mean, Dr. Mammon then as well. But Penguin Dude on the intermediate tyres seems to be the front runner of that group. And to me, it just doesn't look like it's raining enough at the moment. I feel like these guys are taking a bit of a gamble.
I'm having a look at Redness. He's closing in on Ethan Thompson. Both are on the intermediate tyres, but looks like a lot of understeer.
Yeah, I think they might have done the move at the wrong time, because if you sit the intermediate tyres on, having said that, it's getting damper and damper by the second. But the one that we've got to watch out for, Penguin Dude behind HD Baguette. Penguin Dude on the inters and HD Baguette still on the dries. And HD Baguette's pulling away from Penguin Dude at the moment. Doesn't seem like the intermediate tyres are the tyre of choice at the moment. That could change very, very quickly here. But it just seems to be not the option. GGJ's just stuck the intermediate tyres on. We'll see how he gets on. Maybe with the track having got a little bit more moist now, it could be that they're not going to burn up as much, and GGJ might be able to find more pace. But, well, I mean, it's definitely a bit of a split strategy.
Take you a long way in the wet.
They certainly do.
Guys have to do a massive correction in the first couple of corners, but he saved it very nicely. He's also still on the soft tyres.
Yeah, the top five still on the soft at the moment. Dr. Van Midden, HD Baguette, they both started the race on medium tyres, which means that this rain is really going to mess with their strategy a bit more than the others, because obviously their plan was to go a fair old way into the race. So I suppose it's going to be a bit of a thorn in their side, this whole weather situation at this point. But we see that the top five sticking to their guns at the moment. They're not giving in. They're not pulling out of their strategy just yet. Joram coming through the final few corners, showing no signs of coming into the pits. What about Magfire? No, Magfire's staying out. It looks to me, Raki, I don't know if it's just me, but the rain seems to have stopped. It seems to have completely stopped to me. I don't know about on your screen, but I think that it's drying out already.
Well, it's not a drizzle yet. It's still rain on my screen, but there are not really any tracks forming on the track, or how do you say that?
There are not any puddles or any standing water.
Yeah, puddles indeed, yeah. DJ Phil is switching back to from the intermediates to the medium tyre now, so that's quite a strategy change.
Interestingly, Little Greavy and Green Pie is now putting the intermediate tyres on. Dick Dr. Van Midden into the pits as well. Boo Boo's crashed out of the race, so maybe that is a sign that the soft tyres are now starting to struggle. Safety car's out. Safety car deployed here at Circuit of the Americas for the US Grand Prix. Now this gives the Joram and Magfire a free pit stop, so they'll be able to come out 1 and 2 easily. And maybe that's come at the right time there, because I tell you what, the track is now starting to get quite wet. I think maybe now is the time, now is the moment to get those intermediate tyres on. I think that Boo Boo there has just found a loss of grip out there on those soft tyres. And Joram and Magfire maybe saved it a bit by that, because they can just take it easy and get themselves round to the pits, and obviously with the safety of the safety car, they can get that sorted out without any issues. But lap 8 of 28, HD Baguette staying out on the medium tyres. Does she know something we don't know? Has she looked at the weather forecast? Does she know that she can stay out on those mediums until the latter stages of the race? Who knows? DJ Phil's put the mediums back on, and A. Thompson has just put the mediums back on as well. So A. Thompson and DJ Phil both doing the same thing here.
Yeah, and it's not Joram and Magfire, are they? They're closing in. Yeah, they're going in. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder what they're going to do now. Yeah, because they could potentially put the hard tyres on, go to the end, maybe the mediums, but that would be a risk, because the rain is drizzling a little bit. It's coming down just ever so slightly still. Let's see what Joram puts the intermediate tyres on. Magfire.
Yeah, and in the rain, the soft tyres give you grip, but the medium and the hard tyres are not the best tyre when it's wet.
No, certainly not. But they're both off and on their way now. So Joram to the exit of the pits. You've got Magfire there just behind him. Little Greavy coming through the final corner now, so he'll be in third place. But the big thing for Joram and Magfire is that it cost them absolutely no time because of the fact that the virtual safety car came out due to Boo Boo's accident. So they were able to tiptoe around and keep their gaps to the rest of the pack as everybody was at half speed essentially. But so yeah, their blushes were saved.
DJ Phil's giving us the information we want to know because he's switching back when he's on full wets. That's quite interesting.
Phil, I think that's probably not the way to go at the moment. We see HD Baguette coming in and putting the intermediate tyres on. A. Thompson is... I mean, DJ Phil could... I suppose... P17 or what was it, P15 where he was before, he's got nothing to lose in a way. He might as well roll the dice.
Thompson, but the dry tyre is not the way to go. He's struggling.
Yeah.
At the moment.
The problem is
the tyre to be.
The problem is he put the intermediate tyres on, and they were the right tyre, but because he put them on so early, they had shriveled up and they were completely useless. By the time that the weather had adapted to suit the tyres that he was on, they were past their shelf life because they had been ruined from when they had been used before they were actually needed. And as such, A. Thompson has obviously thought, oh, it's the wrong tyre, I've got to put the mediums on. But actually, you know, he just would have been better advised waiting another couple of laps, and he would have been in the prime seat.
No, keep it up the wall. Oh. Sorry, mate.
This is survival.
It's just survival, I'm feeling it.
Live to fight another day, A. Thompson. Live to fight another day, my friend.
Yeah.
Get it in.
Chicken win lap decision.
Yeah,
He
was already crashed out, but he's now, he doesn't want to stick around and see who's going to take the win tonight. But safety car here, looks like the entire pack, barring DJ Phil, is on the intermediate tyres. DJ Phil taking a bit of a gamble here by the looks of it, maybe hoping that we see a increase in the level of precipitation here tonight at the USA. But that's a little bit of a gamble there because I can't see it getting that bad too quickly here. Although I suppose we are in Texas, and in this part of the world, I think certainly Florida, the weather can change very quickly. I'm not sure about Texas, but you can definitely go from 0 to 100 in terms of the weather in the blink of an eye in Florida. But we're not too far away from there, but I don't really know, to be honest. Not the biggest nerd in terms of USA weather.
As far as I know, Texas is way south.
Yeah, no, it's way south. It's like a bit north of Florida to the west. I don't know. It could be similar weather patterns.
Whatever. In the digital world, everything's possible. So.
Yeah. This is the digital world, of course. This is F1, and the F1 game is in no way indicative of USA weather charts. But we are here currently on the safety car, lap 10 of 28 here, ladies and gentlemen, for the US Grand Prix, season 3 of the F1 league here at Motive. And we've got 16 drivers left in the race at the moment. In terms of the championship as it stands, John, will be continuing to extend his gap over Magpie. He's got over a 50-point lead already. Can he extend that to possibly over a 60-point lead and bring himself even closer to within striking distance potentially of taking a second title? Obviously, with still... It's around round 17 tonight, so still 150 points on the table, so he's by no means home and dry. Is Joram. Last season he obviously wrapped up the title at Suzuka. That's the race that we just had previously last week. Last season, that was where we wrapped the title up. Just goes to show how dominant he was last season. This time around hasn't been quite so one-sided, as Green Pies has just disconnected, I think. So I'm not sure what's gone on there. He was running P5, no reason to leave the session, so he must have disconnected. As he's now got ahead of GGJ, with GGJ seeming to mess around a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot happening behind the safety car. It's still a race when it's not a race at the moment. Everybody's struggling, keep it on track. And I believe DJ Phil has closed on the pack, so maybe the last lap now. More lap to go.
I think we're going to have one more because Horatio... I don't know, actually. Wait, hold on.
I'm still racing, I see.
Yeah, your AI's there. Because you're still in the session, your AI's still out. Wait, how are you ahead of... Oh, because safe... I don't know. That's really weird. You're ahead of...
It's talent, it's all talent.
You're ahead of A. Thompson and DJ Phil. So Rocky Majeda alongside us in the box, and also out there on the track.
Nice.
Yeah, he just left again. I don't know why, but he's still in 4th, which is really weird. I don't know what's going on here, to be honest. We'll see once we go green flag, but a bit of a confusing situation right now here. But the safety car, this never-ending safety car, is still upon us right now. But yeah, Horatio coming into the pits here at the end of lap 10 nonetheless. And yeah, into the box he comes there. McLaren boys are out. What do they put on? Wet? Ooh, could be an interesting strategy now. The rains continue to fall. Like, to me, it just doesn't seem like it's enough yet.
Yeah, and this could cause an extra lap again under the safety car.
I hope not.
Wait. No, I hope not. So what does the top 10 look like? We've got a championship leader on number 1. Magpie number 2. Little Grebe. So we have the quick guys in front.
Yes.
I hope they can give us a good fight.
It's indicative of the championship standings. The fact that the top 3 in the championship, top 3 here tonight. Is Green Pies back in the session? I think he is, because he's not ghosting. So I think Green Pies is back in. I don't think that's his AI there. So that's obviously good. But Green Pies knows what it takes to fight our championship. I mean, he was runner-up in the first season here at Motive, the first ever season on F1 2020. He obviously came into, yeah, that's definitely him. Yeah, that's definitely him. That's not the AI that's doing time warm-ups like that. As he slides it there. But yeah, safety car in this lap. That's just come down officially from race control. So thank goodness for that, because we've been under this safety car for what feels like absolutely forever. One thing that's still confusing me is that A. Thompson is behind Raki, but nonetheless, we'll just have to try and ignore that.
He can just go through me, so that's...
Yeah, he should be able to. Horatio, I don't know if Horatio can't be on the AI because he's just put the wet tyres on, so I don't know really what's happening, but I'm just going to have to pretend that I kind of know. But anyway, here we come into the final couple of corners now, so it's Joram going to back him up. He'll be obviously the one to set the pace. The safety car's pulling off now. It's going to be down to Magpie to react to Joram, and we've seen Joram quite often catches the drivers out on these restarts. He seems to be pretty good at managing to find the right time to put the hammer down. Obviously, you know him pretty well, Raki. Does he have like a strategy for this, or does he just wing it?
No, most of the times he's going very slow, and then suddenly, now he's off.
Try and catch him, yeah. There he goes.
Yeah.
So Joram is off and away, as we can see here. We've got GGJ behind little Greavy. Green Pies having a look to the inside of GGJ into turn 1. Can he do it? Or is GGJ, he gives him the space on the outside. GGJ hanging it around. Oh, bit of contact there, but good driver from the two of them. GGJ holds on to that 4th place as Bennett's now trying to put the pressure on Chrissy. Chrissy goes a little bit wide coming out of turn 2. Bennett looking to the outside into the S's. He's looking around trying to find a way underneath him, but at the moment Chrissy holding his ground for the time being. You got Dr. Van Midden ahead of HD Baguette. There's Raki. Obviously Raki somehow running in P11 here. He's just been passed there by Horatio. Horatio now into 10th. And again, I'm not quite sure how Raki, are you playing? No. Okay, yeah, no. He's just ghosted through you. So Horatio also not there. Yeah, Horatio.
Jerome told me I had to retire in the pits, then it wouldn't be a problem. So that's for the next time. Sorry.
Right, so we see DJ Phil's also not there, I think, because he's ghosting. Penguin Dude.
Magpie and Little Grebe had the pressure on Jelram for a brief moment, for quite a quarter of a lap. And Little Grebe was also putting some pressure on Magpie, but now the gap is opening up.
Jerome settling into his stride a bit, isn't he now? I think it's a case of getting these tyres up to temperature. It's never easy with these slightly wetter tyres, the intermediates, the wets. They're all the same sort of thing. They do the same kind of thing, but they are obviously, the wets are designed a little bit more for torrential rain, sort of puddles and standing water and stuff. The inters are really designed for damp tracks rather than for aquaplaning. But right now Magpie trying to put that pressure on Joram as they're coming out of the last corner. Chrissy's on the back of Green Pies. Green Pies has dropped off at the back of GGJ a little bit in that battle for 4th place, as we see Dr. Van Midden coming in here at the end of lap 12. So he's going to stop in the box. Yeah, he's probably going for the same strategy that Horatio is. Where is Horatio? Horatio's coming into turn 1 at the moment, but yep, Dr. Van Millen. Yeah, he could have surely gone to the end on those, I would have thought.
It's interesting to keep an eye on just Horatio and Redness, because just Horatio is on the full wets and Redness on the intermediate. The gap was less than a second, and now it's increasing, so maybe the wet tire is slowly the way to go. The rain is surely increasing.
Yeah, it looks like we're at that crossover point now, doesn't it, where it's somewhere in the middle between the two tyres. We can see Chrissy is currently on the back of Green Pies, trying to get himself into 5th place. Green Pies just doesn't seem to have the pace in the wet that we're used to seeing in the dry conditions. I mean, he was reasonably up there in the dry qualifying session, but right now he's falling away off at the back of GTJ, as we can see Chrissy getting ever closer down the end of the straight, but not close enough. Bennett very much in tow between these guys, but Redness has now closed the gap to Horatio, so maybe the Inters, well, it's a straight, but
Redness is showing me I'm all wrong at the moment, so go ahead, Redness.
Well, to be fair, it's ebbing and flowing at the moment. Some corners it seems like Horatio's got the confidence, and then certain corners Redness has got the speed. I think that the Inters are obviously the faster tyre, but I think it's a case of confidence. It's a case of getting the grip out of the slower corners, although, as I say that, I mean, Redness has just killed it out of that hairpin and is now flying through these faster corners, but in towards the final few corners they come, and I think the Inter's possibly still the tyre of choice, but the wets are getting closer to them. It's certainly not like the Inters are absolutely smashing these wet tyres. And Parker always Redness gets the back of Horatio there coming to the final corner, and that was very close there, I tell you what. Redness did really well to hold on to that one, as Raki's AI is currently battling it out with the Mutts Nuts for 12th place, but wow, that was ever so tight there between those two, and Redness now has to go again there in that battle, but he did really, really well to keep onto that and not bin it. But right now Chrissy's still on the back of Green Pies, these two battling out over 5th and 6th. Bennett's trying to keep to the back of them at the moment, but Bennett's struggling to hold on to the coattails of Chrissy. It's the gaps at the front and extending really. Joe Arm's pulled out a bit from Magfire. Magfire has got a comfortable gap to Little Greavy. GGJ just over a second off at the back of Little Greavy. And Green Pies is falling into the clutches of Chrissy, as we can see Penguin Dude's got the move done on Raki's AI there, up into 13th place.
Yeah, the intervals are showing us that it's hard to be consistent.
Penguin Dude out of the race. Penguin Dude's crashed out. VSC deployed. Safety car deployed. No, not another one. Another safety car here at Circuit of the Americas. And that's going to mean that there's probably going to be a few pit stops coming in. Drivers will be wanting to make the most of this opportunity to take a pit stop, as then you can have fresh tyres. But they've only done 4 or 5 laps so far in this stint, so it's not going to make too much of a difference. Is anybody going to roll the dice? Is anybody going to try and switch to the wet tyres? Could be.
Yeah, I'm not really convinced which tyre is the best tyre.
Oh, Joe, I'm thought of it. Joe, I'm definitely thought about coming in there. He was, we were just riding on board with him as he was coming to the entry of the pits, and he kind of swerved to the left and then swerved back to the right again. He was thinking about it and then thought better of it, but we see Little Greavy and Bennett both in, and what do these guys do? Little Greavy putting the Inters on, Bennett staying on the Inters as well, so no changes there. Horatio surely is going to come in and put the Inters on, you feel? Let's see as Horatio comes into the pit box now, and it's the Inters. Yep, green mark, intermediate tyres going onto the car of Horatio, and off and away he goes again. The Mutts Nuts there running in 11th place, Raki's AI there in 12th now, and we see DJ Phil still going in P15 in this race. But it's been a chaotic night here tonight at Circuit of the Americas for this changeable condition race. We had a dry start, and then about 4 or 5 laps in we saw the rain drops start to fall on the camera lenses, and it officially became a wet race about 5 or 6 laps ago when the drivers started to change to the intermediate tyres. But it's been a bit here, there and everywhere, this one, and Joe leading us right now here halfway through the race. The championship leader, the reigning champ, has a commanding lead in the championship. Magpie needs to be winning races if he is to take this fight to him in the standings, because Joe has got a decisive gap right now, but So far, Joam's done everything right. They've had a good little battle. They've passed each other a couple of times. Magfire took the lead. Joam took it straight back off of him. So these two have been trading positions and trading a bit of paint, actually, because they did have a bit of contact at one point. But for the most part, they've kept it very tidy here in this race. Lap 15 of 28. GTJ and Green Pie is not too far away. Green Pie says actually he must have made the move on... oh, no, sorry, he was already had a Chrissy. Those two were battling. But GTJ just seems to have lost a couple of positions here under safety car. I'm not quite sure what's happening here with GTJ, but he seems to have just given 2 positions away for some reason. Not 100% sure why, but nonetheless, we continue on. So we've got Raki's AI still out there at the moment. You've got Horatio P13 at this point. DJ Phil still out on track, but he's a few laps down by the looks of it. And yeah, safety car still staying out for at least one more lap here in this race.
Yeah, and it seems DJ Phil, he already closed into the back, so could be the last lap under the safety car. People are struggling behind the safety car. It's always a moment to keep attention to the car in front of you, or even the car in front of that car, so that you're not surprised by someone be braking or losing it.
Absolutely, yeah. You've just got to be wary in these conditions, but I think it's going to be very much a case of surviving. I think that probably there'll be points on offer for finishing this race. I can't see all 14 drivers making it to the end. I'll be impressed if they can. I mean, we all remember what happened at Singapore a couple of weeks ago, or it might have even been last week. No, it was 2 weeks ago, Singapore. Last week was Japan. But we saw Singapore, it was absolutely chaos. The race lasted over an hour in the end. The 50% race distance lasted 1 hour. It was crazy race. And it was also in the daytime as well, because some idiot forgot to put it to the night time. Don't know who that was, but it was race at Singapore in the daytime in the rain, and 2 rarities here on the Formula 1 calendar, and yeah, it just did not really go very well at all. As HD Baguette's got ahead a little greavy under the safety car, so drivers are passing each other under the safety car here, and I don't quite know why. If I'm perfectly honest with you, I think HD Baguette's just got done for ignoring yellow flags. So obviously that's a straight up Stonewall penalty. It's not like the track limits where you get warnings telling you that you mustn't do this. Joe actually DM'd me the other day. He said I'd got the process for track limit penalties wrong when I said it on stream the other day. So I must amend. He told me you get 2 warnings for track limits. So you get 1 warning, then you get 2, and after the second warning, it's like, okay, you've had your fun, you've messed around, you've kind of like broken the rules a bit, but if you do it again, then it's going to be a penalty. So as long as you show that you've applied that knowledge and that you've started behaving and that you've started being a good boy or girl, and that you've decided that you're going to play by the rules and you're making it clear that you haven't done it for a while, then the stewards will be like, okay, we'll let that one go, but if you do it again, then that's a big penalty. Nonetheless, we see Green Pies has gone ahead of Chrissy, so there's lots of position changes going on here under the safety car.
People are losing it on the curbs now and then.
And
then that's an opportunity, or the game gives you the order to pass the guy in front of you, or the girl in front of you.
Yeah.
The driver in front of you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm confused. Is the safety car in or still out?
I think it's coming in. Yep, we're underway. The Muttnuts into the pits. Joam leads, but Magfire very, very quick.
Magfire is coming.
Yep, very reactive there from Magfire. Down the inside, he gets the move done up into the lead of the race. Joam, though, trying to hold it around the outside. No, Joam's backed off. What's Joam doing? Did he miss a gear or something? He must have got into neutral there. Raki, he's just lost 4 positions in one corner. That is not like Joam at all. He just got stuck on the outside. I think he selected neutral there. Personally, it looked very much like he just went down a gear too many, and he dropped down to 5th place there. So Magfire leads this race, and the championship leader making a rare mistake, as we see GTJ into P10, getting ahead of Raki's AI, Horatio, the Muttnuts, and DJ Phil just behind them at the moment. But Magfire opening up a second and a half Yeah, he's gone, hasn't he? He's absolutely left him for dead. Chrissy's on the back of Green Pies. You got Little Greavy and Joram in hot pursuit as Bennett's got the move done on it. HD we get there into 6th place, into the hairpin. So that's a good move there from Bennett as Dr. Van Millen's now queuing up behind these as well. GGJ on the back of Rednass here. As we can see, Horatio's got ahead of Raki's AI up into 11th place. At the moment, it's just automatic. It's just reactive. Chrissy is
on the inside of Green Pies. And Little Greavy and Joram are also...
Yeah, great move there from Chrissy.
Oh.
Good move from Chrissy there into 3rd. Yeah, Little Greavy managed to keep on to Joram there. Bennett's waiting in the wings, but Chrissy there up into the podium spots at the moment can now focus his attention on Green Pies. Green Pies has actually gained a couple of tenths on Magpie, so this top 5 really evenly matched at the moment. They just seem to all be within a couple of tenths of each other in terms of overall pace. Magpie, though, making a break for it, making the most of this lead, which has been handed to him on a plate due to Joram's mistake. Coming into turn 1 on the previous lap, as we can see Chrissy here is still behind Green Pies. Didn't know why we just saw a change on the timing board there, but he's still P3 behind Green Pies. Little Greavy close on the back of Chrissy, nothing doing into turn 1. Looking down the order, Bennett's right on the back of this top 5 as well. Now it's the 6-way battle for the lead. We've got HD Baguette in 7th ahead of Dr. Van Millen, JGJ ahead of Rednass. You've got Horatio trying to get the cut back here on Rednass coming out of turn 1. He's going to look to the outside. Horatio is eyeing up this move here, coming through the S's. Rednass, though, squeezing him out and keeping on to that one for the time being as Chrissy's got ahead of Green Pies up into 3rd place. And now we can see Little Greavy trying to go around the outside of Green Pies. And Green Pies has disconnected again. He's ghosting here coming through the S's.
Connection issues.
I think he definitely does, yeah. He seems to be disconnecting every couple of laps. I don't know what's going on here, but Green Pies has got a 5-second penalty for ignoring the yellow flag. So that must have been from a little while ago, because that one certainly didn't come up straight away. But we can see Bennett up into 5th place there. But yeah, the stewards obviously lacking in something there and didn't pick that one up until a little while later. So yeah, Green Pies maybe suffering from the steward's incompetence there, but we can see Little Greavy and Chrissy side by side, and Chrissy just squeezing Little Greavy to the edge of the track, Little Greavy back down the inside for the next right-hander. They're still side by side, and Little Greavy gets that done there up into 2nd place. HD Baguette running ahead of Dr. Van Millen, but Dr. Van Millen's made the move on GGJ. GGJ trying to come back around the outside there. They're side by side through the stadium section, and GGJ has the inside for this left-hand hairpin, and Dr. Van Millen's tried to come back at him, but GGJ gets that done there up into 8th place with Rednass now in hot pursuit behind these guys. The Mutts Nuts has got ahead of Raki's AI up into 12th place. Back to the front though, Magpie's got a 3-second lead over Chrissy. Chrissy has got Little Greavy, Joram and Bennett in hot pursuit though.
Chrissy took back the position from Little Greavy. Enthusiastic maneuver, so to speak, but it seemed fair.
Yeah, Joram's now looking to try and he just... Yeah, he tagged Little Greavy in the back there, didn't he? That was close, but good reactions there. Joram got a bit of a slide on as he tagged the rear of Little Greavy, but with absolutely fantastic reactions, the champ managed to grab hold of it, just counter-steered it to the right, just enough to stop the car from bottoming out, and then the rear would obviously overtake the front tyres, but he managed to keep onto it there. So good stuff there from Joram. As we go trackside here, he's looking to try and find a way through onto the podium, as he obviously gave Magpie the race lead on a plate. Little Greavy looking to the inside of Chrissy. Is he going to make this move into the hairpin? He's going to be forced around the outside as Chrissy's defending that inside line. Now Little Greavy tries to go around the outside. Is he going to go for the cutback? He doesn't really go for the cutback. He could have outfoxed him there, and that's going to give Joram the chance here to go for this move. And Joram there swoops through into 3rd place, says thank you very much. And Little Greavy powerless to do anything about that one. Chrissy now has got Joram looking to his inside, on board with Little Greavy, who's on the outside. Let's go trackside because we can't see absolutely nothing on the outside there, as Joram's down the inside of both of them there, and Joram picking up 2 positions in a space of a few hundred metres. Great stuff there from Joram. Little Greavy also following him through, and Chrissy losing out 2 positions in a space of absolutely nothing there. Disaster there for Chrissy, as he's now got Bennett on the back of him, but Chrissy back down the inside of Little Greavy into the hairpin, and Chrissy back up into 3rd place, but Little Greavy a bit of a snap oversteer on the exit of the corner. And he might be open to an attack here from Bennett, but Bennett can't do anything there. Double wave yellow flags through sector 2 and 3. Not sure why at this point. And it's Green Pies. Green Pies trying to get himself back into this race, to spun it there, coming through the middle sector. So he's pretty much out of this one, and he's left the session. And I think that one wasn't a disconnection, Raki.
No, and I'm looking at the back at DR Van Midden and Rednass for having a fight.
Onto Little Greavy. Sorry, Raki. Sorry to jump in. He's looking to the inside of Chrissy into turn 1. Down the inside goes Little Greavy. Does he get it stopped? He gets it a little bit deep. Chrissy will go for the cutback. No. Little Greavy back up into 3rd place.
to watch if Joram can close the gap on Magfire now.
Yeah, 4.5 seconds is.
Both are in clean air, so they can drive their own rhythm at the moment. Yellow flag. What happened?
Chrissy dropped down a position. Oh, Chrissy's out.
Chrissy.
What happened to Chrissy? Did he retire? It looks like he retired from the session because he was just driving in the middle of the track and then all of a sudden he's just disappeared. So Chrissy there out of the race. Double wave yellow flags through sector 2. Not sure why, because that was in sector 1 where Chrissy had his moment, but nonetheless.
Joram picked up his first time penalty, so Magfire knows he has a 3-second, well, sort of a virtual advantage now.
He has that psychological edge now because he knows that no matter what Joram does, Joram needs to. He's got work to do if he wants to get ahead of him. Joram would need to pull out at least a 3-second gap if he were to win this race. And Magfire, with that 4-second advantage on track, knows that all he really needs to do is lap within a second a lap of Joram, and he's got this race win in the bag. And that would be great for Magfire, obviously, because in that championship battle, he's a long way behind Joram, but that will give him some confidence going into the final few rounds of this season, as we've still got 5 races after this, but the gap will still be 40 odd points as Magfire into the pits here. So wow, well then,
7 laps to go. That's interesting.
well then, what is this about? As Magfire into the box, he's putting the soft tyres on. Well, I didn't think it had dried off enough, to be honest, Raki. To me, it still looks like a pretty damn track, but he's going for it. He's got everything to lose.
Getting some lighter.
He's got everything to lose, though. He's leading the race. He'd be the last person that I thought would be taking that gamble. The last driver that I thought would be doing that. He was the race leader, but he's just gone for it here. And is it going to pay off, or is he going to be made to look a bit silly here? This reminds me a little bit of season 1, Paul Ricard, French Grand Prix, where Green Pies had the lead of the race. It was spitting a bit, but it was very, very light rain, and everybody was on dry tyres. He was very, very light rain. He went and put the intermediate tyres on when he was leading the race, and it proved to be the wrong decision. Not just the fact that he spent the time in the pits and lost 20 seconds, but also the fact that he was on the wrong tyres anyway meant he lost even more time at the end of the race. So reminiscent of that, but right now we see GGJ's made the move on HD but get up into 4th place nonetheless. 7 laps left to go here in this one, as that was a hiccup.
When we're looking at the sky, it's clearing up. I don't see any raindrops falling anymore, so maybe this is the right choice. We will see. 7 laps to go.
Could be not. We'll have to see. But Magfire reeling in HD Baguette at the moment, so it looks like the track is starting to dry out a bit, and he just needs to make sure he doesn't stray off of that dry line, because any little deviations from that ultimate line there, it's my first language and I still can't talk. Joe, I'm in the pits.
So maybe Magfire took the right decision now.
Yeah, in he comes.
The interest can't be kept cool. There's not enough water anymore on the track.
Yeah, Magfire taking the lead of the race, so clearly he's a bit ahead of the game here. Definitely made a choice ahead of his time, but we can see Joam back out. So Joam now leads this pack. This has promoted Joam up into P2 in this race. Obviously he was in that position before the incident coming into turn 1, but he's 10 seconds behind Magfire. The thing is though, because Magfire did a lap on a damp track, maybe his tyres may have taken a bit more of a hit than Joam's. Potentially he could have suffered from a bit more tyre wear. I mean, I'm clutching at straws here. I'm just trying to think of a way that Joam might have a chance to reel him in. But GTJ has taken a DNF here. He's out of the race, and we've got a safety car. Oh, this is going to play into Joam's hands. This gives Joam a big chance to take this win here. Magfire is going to be looking at that safety car. He's going to be thinking, no! Magfire is going to be absolutely horrified seeing that safety car message pop up on the screen, because that completely and utterly throws his advantage to pot. Lap 22 or 28, we're probably going to have 4 or 5 racing laps left once we get racing once again, but we're down to 12 drivers here in this race, or 11 because Green Pies, 10 really, because Raki and Green Pies are currently not at the screen. Their AIs are in control of the cars, so
indeed.
Yeah, this is...
So we have DJ Phil is in the points at the moment,
despite, I think, no, he has been driving, hasn't he? I think he has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he has been driving. But yeah, I mean, technically, you're still on course for 1 point, Raki, at the moment.
No, I'm going to scratch myself from the.
No, of course.
Scratch myself from the results. Yeah.
Of course, you can't score points if you haven't been driving. But but yes, DJ Phil got a 3-second time penalty apparently for track limits.
And he's still on the inters, so the question is he going to go into the pit? So therefore we have another lap under the safety car.
Oh, Chrissy's just left, so obviously he retired from the race a couple of laps ago, retired the car. But yeah, does DJ Phil box for some soft tyres here in the closing stage of this race? Magpie, your leader at the moment, Joram right behind him, ready to pounce on this restart. You feel Magpie has got to get a quick start here once we go green flag for the end of this race, because Joram's going to be putting him under heavy pressure, and I think Magpie probably wants this safety car to last as long as possible, if I'm honest with you.
We still don't have the pack, so I'm afraid we're only going to have, well, maybe 3 laps.
Yeah, because your AI is 18 seconds off for the back of the pack. Green Pies' AI is 3 seconds behind your AI.
Going to the pit now.
Yes, yeah, we're going to be a while here because DJ Phil.
It's going to be in a while.
Because DJ Phil coming in for some soft tyres, so we're going to have probably 4 or 5 laps left here in this race. Once we get going, probably 4 laps. We'll probably be going at the end of lap 24. But yeah, this is dragging on a bit, this safety car period here. But it's between, I reckon it's between Magpie and Joram for this race win. Little Greavy's right there as well. Bennett, I know, is a driver who always rises to the occasion. When the going gets tough, when the tension builds, Bennett is generally there, ready to pounce. He's always there fighting. So Bennett, don't count him out for a podium, potentially a race win. But yeah, it's going to be a close finish. Dr. Van Min and HD Baguette, consistency, just surviving in this race has got them where they are. In very, very good positions indeed. Horatio, the Mutts Nuts still going. Rednas, Raki's AI on course for a point. You got Green Pies in P11. DJ Phil is just coming through the middle part of the lap now, so yeah, he might just catch up by the time we get to the end of lap 24. Potentially we could have a 4-lap race instead of a 3-lap race to the end of this one. But yeah, DJ Phil boxing for those soft tyres has just meant that we have to wait that little bit longer for the restart of this race, which is obviously unfortunate, as we want to see action. We want to see the 2 contenders here in this championship going at it for the final part of this race. We want to see some of the best action between these 2, but it's looking like we have to wait at least another couple of minutes here. It's just looking down the order. Horatio running in 7th, ahead of the Mutts Nuts. Mutts Nuts, is that a quiet race in this one? I believe he's still in the car.
Yeah, but I think he's one of the few lads or drivers which is happy with this race. I think it's one of his best results in the last couple of races. Yeah,
he's had difficulties, hasn't he, recently? I think a few incidents. I know that there's been a few disputes and stuff, so yeah, it's good to see he's kept it out of trouble tonight. He's running in P8 just ahead of Rednas. Your AI there's just ghosting there, you can see. Also his Green Pies. So 10 drivers still in this race at this point, and obviously DJ Phil is just coming through the S's, so just taking his time. He's not pushing too hard, he's not in a rush or anything, just taking it easy, and you know, we might end up going at some point. No rush, just take it easy. Anyway, Rednas has moved ahead of Raki's AI, so those 2 swapping positions at the moment. Raki's AI is now being allowed back past Rednas, and I don't quite understand the thinking behind that, but nonetheless, DJ Phil.
And I'm afraid the lights are not going out in the safety car, so we have another lap. And it will be a 3-lap battle then to the end. This is so not right.
No, Mikey, this is so not right. Well, here he is. Here's DJ Phil now. So the game has taken control of his car, but unfortunately, it's just a little bit too late. The opportunity's gone. So, yeah, we're not going to be going this lap.
Everybody has to be patient for one more lap. Then, well, it's going to be quite a fight, I think, in the last couple of laps.
Yeah.
We have some, well, good races, but sometimes greedy. So let's see if they can keep cool or if they go for a gap that isn't there.
Whilst we're here, Raki, whilst we're sat here kind of like just chilling, I've got to ask, what's your thoughts on the cross-play being announced for F1 22? We're hearing that PS4 will still be able to play with PS5, apparently.
Yeah, but it's only, I'm not quite into that news, I must say. So, I thought it's going to be PC and consoles together, but that's not right then.
No, it was initially going to be announced that PS4 and PS5 weren't going to be compatible, so PS4 will only be able to play with PS4, PS5 only with PS5, but like ACC really, with the PS5 version. But now they're saying that it's going to be cross-play on all versions of the game. Yeah, it's good.
That's very good news, because the ACC lobbies on PS5 only, they're not quite crowded, I must say.
Yeah, I know, it's a shame. I mean, it's obviously a much better game, but because the PS5 is so hard to get hold of, I mean, I had to pay silly amounts of money for my PS5, you know, much more than I would love to have paid. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating that. But yeah, F1 will still be cross-play, which means that we don't have to be setting up 2 separate leagues here at Motive. We will be putting up a sign-up pretty shortly for next season here on F1 22 for Motive. We'll be running a 4th season here for the Codemasters Formula 1 game here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. It will still be a cross-play league between the two. So any of you guys, the drivers, if you're a friend of the drivers, if you're an otherwise associate of the drivers, then be sure to join the Discord server, www.motiveracing.com. Also join any of our partners over at OG League, Purple Sector League, as well as Excel, as well as Indigo, any of the leagues that we stream here at Motive. We stream quite a few throughout the week, so if anybody is in any of those leagues or wants to join us for next season, be sure to keep your eyes out for that. But here we are, we're getting underway once again as Magfire out of the last corner. We're about to start a 3-lap dash to the flag here. Joam, with a 3-second time penalty, needs to get ahead of Magfire quickly and needs to clear him, needs to try and put out the gap if he can. But HD Baguette in the comments was asking for the penalties, and there they are on the screen. Nonetheless, we can see a few position changes going on here. Horatio's up into 5th place ahead of Dr. Van Min. Dr. Van Min has got a drive-through penalty, so he's going to have to come in and serve that at some point. But we see the Mutt Nuts up into P7 ahead of HD Baguette. Racky's AI has got Rednass on the back of him. Rednass has squeezed through up into 9th place ahead of Racky's AI. You've got Green Pies in 11th, and DJ Phil has just come in for yet another pit stop there, so he is coming in left, right and centre, in and out of that pit lane right now. But Magfire is currently leading this race, and DJ Phil has got a 10-second time penalty for cutting the track.
Cutting.
Oh, DJ Phil.
All over the place of Magfire, just putting the car in places.
Phil, when they tell you that you're not going to get away with it again, you need to stop, man. But Magfire's all over the back. Sorry, Magfire's still got Joanne behind him. This is going down to the wire between these two as they're still fighting it out. Martin's got ahead of Dr. Van Minden up into 5th place. HD Baguette has been passed there by Rednass. Rednass is up into 8th, so lots going on right now. But these two at the front, Magfire and Joe, separated by 6/10, but Little Greavy's sticking with him as well. But he has got a 12-second penalty.
Playing into the hands of Little Greavy.
Yeah, that 12.
He's giving it everything he has.
Yeah, the 12-second penalty for Little Greavy though could very much bite him. He'll need to make sure he's got 12 seconds back to the Mutt Nuts if he wants to hold on for P4. He's currently got Bennett a second behind him. He's not going to pull out that gap. Dr. Van Midden has got ahead of the Mutt Nuts because Mutt Nuts is in the pits.
This is always interesting, I think. If you have such an amount of penalties, should you keep the distance or would you go for the position? That's the question.
The thing is that you've got to really go for it, because especially in Little Grievy's position right now, he's got the Mutts Nuts 9 seconds behind him. He's got Horatio 11 seconds behind him. So if he goes for that position, he's got more of a chance of being able to pull that gap if he's stuck behind Joram, or if he feels that Joram's holding him up. His best option is obviously going to be to get into clean air, because then he's going to have his own fates in his own hands. He can control what happens rather than just relying on Joram to have the pace. If he gets ahead of him, he can unleash his full potential. I'm not saying that Joram's holding him up, far from it. Joram, on balance, has been faster than Little Greevy over this season, but I'm just saying that if Little Greevy feels that way, he'll want to be in control of his own destiny, if you see what I mean.
Indeed.
Nonetheless, though, these three continuing to battle it out. Magpie, Joram and Little Greevy. A second currently separating these three at the moment. You've got Rednass on the back of Horatio, and he's in a bit of a sandwich at the moment between Horatio and HD Baguette. We've got the Green Pies on the back of Raki as well. Raki's AI still running in P9 in this race, on course for 2 championship points. Big up my man, sat alongside me in the box. Your multitasking skills are insane. As we can see, Little Greevy's got ahead of Joram at home up to turn 1. He's looking to the outside. Can he get it around the outside here? Joram looking, trying to make a move back on Little Greevy. I think he's done it. Yes, he has. Joram back up into P2. These two trading places, but this is giving Magpie the ascendancy that he needs. It's giving him the cushion that he wants here out the front, and he's just got to bring it around this final lap, and Magpie will be taking an impressive win here tonight. HD Baguette, though, in a good position. She's currently running in 8th place, but all the drivers in front of her, near enough, have got time penalties.
I think it's going to be the second win of Magpie, or am I wrong?
I think, he won at Monza, didn't he, this season?
Yeah.
I can't remember where else.
Yeah.
He won Italy. I can't remember where else he's run. Oh, it was HD Baguette's picked up a time penalty. So HD Baguette was the only driver, aside from Raki and Green Pies today, I am Magpie, not to have picked up a penalty, but she's just gone and got a penalty on the final lap of the race. What a shame. As Bennett's now up into the podium spots there, has got ahead of Little Greevy. Magpie, though, coming into the final few corners, has got a 2-second gap here to Joram, and Joram obviously was the quickest driver in the qualifying, looked to be the man to beat, but Magpie over the course of this race has really taken the fight to him. Magpie has proved that over a race pace, he has been the top dog here at Circuit of the Americas. As he comes into the final corner here in the USA, it's going to be a victory for Magpie. He's going to close the gap in the championship to Joram as he comes up towards the line. He takes the checker flag. Magpie is your winner tonight for round 17 of the season. Joram comes over to take 2nd place. Bennett completes the podium with Little Greevy coming over to take 4th place here in this race. The Mutts Nuts is coming out of the final corner. It's going to be a 5th place finish for him. He's got a 6-second penalty. It's not going to do it, make any changes there, as he's well ahead of Horatio there, who comes over to take 6th place in this race, ahead of HD Baguette, who would have come P6 if it hadn't been for that final lap penalty there. She comes home in 7th place. Dr. Van Minden out of the last quarter is just going to hold on here ahead of Rednass for 8th, and that is all she wrote. That's all she wrote for the race here, for the US Grand Prix, for Season 3 of the PlayStation 4 and 5 F1 League here at Motive on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. HD Baguette gets driver of the day, but my driver of the day's got to go to Magpie just for the way that he managed to boss that out. He got the opportunity. Admittedly, it took a mistake from Joram, but once he had that opportunity given to him, he well and truly took it with both hands. So, on balance, I've got to say, extremely impressive job from Magpie. Congratulations to Joram, but he made a little mistake coming into turn 1, and that's all that Magpie needed. But Raki, what a race here tonight. We saw some great action. A very, very unpredictable and chaotic race, but in terms of what you've seen tonight, I've got to ask, who would you say is your driver of the day tonight?
I'm with you. I'm with Magpie as a competitor of Joram. It was nice to see that he could handle the pressure.
Definitely.
Joram was just giving it a bit too much, so he lost the back of the car a lot when exiting a corner. So no, congrats to Magpie, and I must say that the Mutts Nuts had also a very good race when considering the races he had before with us. So congrats to the Mutts Nuts. Yeah,
right place at the right time. I think he delivered there. Absolutely. Well, that is that, everybody, from tonight for Motives F1 League round 17. What a great race we just had there in Austin, Texas. Make sure you join us next week for the next round of the F1 League. 5 races left to go for this F1 season, for season 3. Joe, I'm looking on course to take his 2nd championship, but anything can happen. It can still change in the blink of an eye. Magfire definitely keeping him on his toes here in the final part of this season. Thanks to Raki, thanks to everybody for joining us. Drivers, if you enjoy watching this back, please do share it with your friends, your family and your associates, and we'll see you next week for round 18 of the season, as I'm just buying time here before I check to see where we're at. Mexico is where we're at next week, so join us for the Mexican Grand Prix, 20th of May, same place, same time as always, before we head to Brazil, Australia, Saudi and Abu Dhabi to finish off the season. Thanks everybody, as always, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers everybody, take it easy. I have this horrible feeling the F1